Yes.
And, listening to, then getting back. I mean, I guess when I first heard Aerosmith and Zeppelin stuff, I mean, youthful naivety, right? I didn't know what that sort of common theme was. And, getting back into the guitar later on, and then sort of realizing, all right, well, there's a guy called Lightnin' Hopkins and Buddy Guy and, of course, Stevie Ray and Clapton and Johnny Winter, right? Rory Gallagher. It's just this, chest of legends that just goes on and on. So yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I just have to follow that up with one question that I know is a natural for now that you are where you are, and I appreciate the fact that you're never satisfied with where you are. You always want to be better, and that's a good, noble thing. But I just have to ask, what does your dad think about your sound now?
Yeah, he digs it. He thinks it's pretty cool.
Okay, good. Did he crank it up?
It's not Pink Floyd, but he gets by. Yeah.
John Bon Jovial, you're sitting there. I know you just want to jump in here. Do so. Talk to us.
Well, you have pretty much gone after my heart here, Izzie, in that you mentioned the blues and Lightnin' Hopkins and Muddy Waters and Buddy Guy. And, one of the earliest influences that I had in some of the music when I was growing up as a kid, I think the very first concert I ever went to, I was 13 years old, at Harvard Stadium in Massachusetts, and I got to see the Paul Butterfield Blues Band and the James Cotton Blues Band. And so it was something that was truly, purely amazing, because I was just this innocent idiot kid. What did I know? Which started me on the road to probably getting me into radio. But in addition to what you've mentioned Pink Floyd and Aerosmith and Dire Straits and such, and your blues influences. What are some of the other outside influences that have carved the niche that you've made for yourself in music? What about some of the more traditional country-sounding artists, George Jones, Tammy Wynette, or have you ever gotten into some of the more esoteric jazz musicians like Miles Davis, something like that?
I love Graham Parsons.
Good man, absolutely good man.
Graham Parsons, just Return to Grievous Angel. I mean, that's just one of those songs that when you listen to it, you just put the guitar down and you're like, wow, how did this guy write this song, right? I mean, at what plane of songwriting do you have to be to reach this level? I love Gillian Welch. I often go back to Gillian Welch, that sort of folk country sound. She means a lot to me because, sometimes when you just want to unwind at the end of the day. So I do often tap into a lot of country musicians and listen to folk music. I do, believe it or not, I actually listen to a lot of Irish music and stuff as well. And I don't even know the names. I just, sort of put on these playlists often. Sure. And it just sort of, that sound is so organic and it's so natural. And believe it or not, it plays off into some of things that I inevitably end up doing. The whole journey sort of becomes fascinating when you start tapping into this catalog of absolutely phenomenal music out there that's never going to get the life. Yeah, sorry.
When you talk about fascinating, I want to share this with the audience because I find it fascinating, and I know that our outside lives, our daytime lives, our straight jobs, whatever, how they can subtly affect our expression through music or whatever our medium is. And in your case, you have a very interesting outside life, the work that you do when you're not making music. Tell us a little bit about that, the other life of Izzie.
Yeah, I always say there are two loves of my life. Actually, there are three. My cat. There.
You gotta have a cat.
There you go.
Yeah, she truly is the love of my life.
I'm loving this guy.
But outside of that, the two loves of my life have always been blues and rock and roll and philosophy. So to offset the other love of my life, as a daytime profession, I actually teach sociology. And it really sort of translates into my nighttime. It's like a very Bruce Wayne, Batman-ish sort of persona that I, sort of,
that's great.
Off, but it really does, because not to sort of get political or anything here, but what we do end up writing about in all our songs is grounded in reality, and it's grounded in human stories. And most of my lyrics are actually very unoriginal in the sense it's often I'm listening, watching the news or listening to certain podcasts and stuff, or reading a newspaper, and suddenly, when I see something which truly affects me, I sort of, either create characters for it or speak about that issue from just an honest blues player, which sort of, traces its origins back to where the blues came from, or even country for that matter, right? Because it was grounded in human experiences and human endeavors and, happiness, tragedy, so on and so forth. So, for example, if you take Blow the Lid, the title track itself, it's just me being disillusioned with, for example, it's a scathing assessment of education today, right?
And it needs to be shaken up, yes.
Yeah.
At least in this country, I can speak for this country. Before we run out of time, we always try to let our guests have time to do a little self-promotion, because we believe that above all else, self-promotion is one of the qualities that we look for. We want to give you a chance to do that. So here's your chance. Pitch yourself to the listeners. Tell them where they can find you, how they can contact you, and most importantly, where they can get your music.
Well, right off the bat, if you're into good old-fashioned blues and rock and roll, then head out to www.izziescaravan.com. That's IZZIES caravan.com. We're all set to release a full-length album called Blow the Lid, which comes out on June 15th. So I'm actually neck deep in the production aspect of it right now. We're really, really, really excited about it. Again, this album is a throwback to, personally for me, everything what I was listening to when I made this record, from whether it's Johnny Winter or Rory Gallagher or stuff like that. So if anyone's into that sort of stuff, do check us out. We're on Spotify and all the streaming services. Check Facebook. So Blow the Lid comes out June 15th. Really excited.
Can't wait for it, and I do hope we're going to get to hear some tracks from that. We'd definitely love to, and we do try to follow, as I alluded earlier, we tried to follow our guests, keep in touch, and ask them to keep in touch with us so that, one, we know what's going on in your life, and two, you can spread the word to more fans and followers. We have a Facebook page, one of my many pages, the David Bowers Awards groups page on Facebook, where you can post your new releases, your upcomings, your touring, whatever you want to post. Just, don't post anything you want to keep secret, because we can't keep secrets. We tell it all. And we'll take whatever you post on there as a guest of ours. We'll automatically post it to our other social media sites. So keep that in mind. You can put your blurbs on there. You can post directly to that. You do not have to send a press release or anything. You can post it directly to that page, and we'll make sure that the word gets spread around. John Bon Jovial, before we go, any last words?
Just, Izzie, thank you so much for being with us. I know that we had a couple of issues, hooking up not too long ago, but when you're on the other side of the world like that, sometimes coordination is a little on the difficult side of life. But seriously, thank you so incredibly much for being with us and letting us play your music. It's been a real honor having you on. It really has.
I really got to thank you guys, because David, from the get-go, you have supported us, and I've seen you really sort of dig the music from the start, and I've always wanted to so I really want to thank Michael for making this happen, and Thank you so much. I mean, it really, really does mean a lot to us.
Well, you're very welcome, and we do thank Michael. Michael is a great one to work for, and he's also a great man to have in your corner as an artist because he does do that magical thing, work for you, and we appreciate his turning us on to his artists and sharing them with us, including yourself. We're so happy to have had you here with us today, and I think that we probably could spend the whole hour because you have some fascinating stories and a great way of telling them, and that translates into your music too. It's your gift. Run with it, my friend, and do run back and see us. Keep in touch, please.
Absolutely. Cheers. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Really... Ladies and gentlemen, Izzie of Izzie's Caravan. And right now you're going to listen to Return to Midway.